Up, please welcome EveryLayer, and presenting are Mark Sommer, Andres Bjornsson, and Clark Ritchie.
Remember that? There used to go a sound along with that. That's slow and hard to access internet. And that's still the reality for the majority of the world today. I'm Mark from EveryLayer. And there we go again. I'm Mark from EveryLayer. And we've developed a cloud-based software platform that allows service providers in the emerging market of Africa and Asia to deliver faster, better, and cheaper broadband to their customers. In those markets, it's very common for enterprises to pay 100 times more for internet access than around here. And if they can get it, it's very slow. The only alternative is to use slow and expensive mobile broadband and pay by the byte for 3G and 4G connectivity. But imagine running your startup on a mobile hotspot. That just doesn't work. The problem ultimately lies in that mobile phones have leapfrogged landlines in those countries. But the cost of using 3G or 4G data as your primary source of connectivity is just too high, yet these companies dominate the market, and it's hard for ISPs to compete with them. For an ISP to get launched, it takes a lot of time and money, and this relies in infrastructure. First, they need to identify fiber optics international and domestically. They need to then secure tower access. That means negotiations with many different providers. Next, they need to select equipment for their network and last-mile connectivity. Carrier-grade Wi-Fi provides the best price and performance for them, but it's very hard to integrate different vendors and make it all work together as a single network. Next, they need to select systems to run their business and technical aspects of the network. That is costly and takes a lot of time, and often internet service providers end up with multiple systems which overlap and don't integrate. It's just a big mess for them, and no wonder they can't shake up the markets. And that's why we are today introducing you to EveryLayer Connect, which makes it easy and possible for internet service providers to scale fast and quickly. Through our software platform, we present pre-negotiated infrastructure access and tested equipment bundles, all in an integrated system which allows the service provider to run their technical and business aspects of the network, that allows them to react quickly to market needs, launching new services or reaching new regions. Ultimately, our service providers can come to market within 12 weeks compared to typically 12 months to get launched, and at 80% less CapEx or OpEx compared to using technologies like LTE. Let's see how it works. Andres will show us.
Hi, I'm Andres, but today I'm going to ask you to spend some time with me as the CTO of a growing ISP in northern Uganda. Let's take a look at our to-do list. We have to plan a network expansion, launch a new service, and track our business growth against smart metrics. Can we switch to the demo, please? But today's our lucky day. We're not going to do this in a bunch of different cobbled-together systems. We're going to do this all in EveryLayer Connect and get everything done in no time. For the network expansion, let's first take a look at our existing network. By visualizing our network in a map, we can better understand possibilities for expansion and see towers where EveryLayer has pre-negotiated lower rates for co-locating equipment. I'll model a link just like my teams will build it. I'll identify the sites and devices that will make up the link and click to link them together. By modeling every device in my network, Connect can help me generate configuration files, which saves a ton of time during deployment. Next, let's set our systems up for this new service. Networks rely on a lot of complicated systems, and without Connect to help, setting these systems up for new services can be really painful. I'll open up my new service that I've already done some work in, setting some details like name and speed. When I click Next, I can see all the details, all the backend systems that I need to work with exposed in one place. In Connect, setting up new services is just like writing a to-do list. All the backend systems are right there. So I'll add a new step and click to move it into place. Now that I've taught Connect to automate the process of turning on service, my Connect can take care of the rest. Let's track our business growth over on the dashboard, where I want to look at subscriber numbers against corporate targets, but I don't have a widget to do that. I'll create one, set some basic details, and choose subscribers as my data source. When I click Save, the widget shows up on my dashboard, and I can share it with my team members to make sure the whole team is laser-focused on hitting our targets and growing our business. Back to you, Mark.
Thanks a lot, Andres. If Google and Facebook are going after this, we know it's going to be a big business. Actually, $70 billion annually will be spent on internet access just in these markets by 2019, fueled by more than 1 billion new users coming online. EveryLayer Connect also enables our customers to go through micro ISPs, basically enabling local entrepreneurs to be resellers, installers, and champions of connectivity, and thereby reducing the overhead for the ISP to scale up. Our first customer in Uganda we have a shared revenue model which lowers the upfront cost and makes sure that we have aligned interests with our customers. We take a percentage of their revenue that makes it easy for them to scale up and grow very fast so they can capitalize on this opportunity. Next to our first customer in Uganda, which launched last year, they came to market with internet services at half the price of any of their competitors in the entire country for businesses. And now we're excited this year to announce consumer services as well at $5 a month, at a fraction of the cost what they currently pay, $20 to $30 typically in these markets. We believe internet access is the key differentiator between being able to participate in the global economy or being left behind. At EveryLayer, we'll make sure that everyone can participate. Thank you.
All right. EveryLayer. Judges.
So it wasn't clear to me, do you actually provide equipment to these ISPs, or are they buying the equipment and deploying it?
No, we don't provide equipment, or we don't manufacture equipment. There are actually great manufacturers out there, but there are a lot of upcoming manufacturers. So our goal is to be a vendor-neutral enabling platform to allow them to pick the best of breed. For example, rural versus urban requires very different equipment, and that's really, really hard to do right now.
But then ultimately, who actually buys that equipment that you
The
help?
ISP buys that equipment.
And then on the backhaul, you've negotiated the backhaul rates as well?
Yeah, so one of the very difficult things for ISPs is to get competitive rates with mobile operators on backhaul connectivity. So we pre-negotiate international fiber access, domestic fiber access. We come from a background where we have a lot of experience in this space. We've worked for the last 7 years in these markets. We come from a telco background. So we understand where that should be. And we go to service providers who provide this and offer them a large number of ISPs over time up and make a case for getting good access rates.
I was with you up until the last piece when you brought the consumer and said consumers can sign up directly. Confused me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe I did not do a perfect job of explaining that. Our platform at this point supports service for enterprise customers, which the ISP, of course, delivers. What we're launching this summer is as well the ability for the ISP to sell directly to consumers. That ultimately is a different business model using hotspots and other types of plans where the consumer uses their existing smartphone, which becomes...
But so the ISP can price it to consumers as low as $5?
Absolutely.
Not you.
The $5 is the suggested price based on the business modeling. We know they're profitable doing that.
So you had a statement about Google and Facebook as evidence that this is a big industry. You think the reason that they're building internet connectivity is because the internet connectivity is the big business?
No, the big business for them is getting those users online,
right.
Absolutely, and they're willing to spend a lot of money on that because they know they can make money from this.
Right.
So they want to enable that, absolutely.
So how does that justify your market? Because I thought that was a misanalogy. I didn't understand why them making that effort leads to you guys having a big market opportunity.
So the reason they're going after this is they know connectivity is too expensive in these markets, and they're trying with their own systems.
So you're competitive. You're competitive to those efforts more than anything, and that you're enabling the existing competitors to ideally build a better product before those guys can scale their product.
In some ways, we might be competitive. In other ways, it's actually going together. Actually, for example, Google is rolling out fiber in Uganda to enable internet service providers to grow better. So I think our interests are actually aligned, but they're going the moonshot route, which I think addresses only 5% of the target audience, which is really, really hard to reach. We're trying to address 90% of the target audience, which we can reach through existing towers, which cover already 85% of the population. They're just using the wrong technology right now.
So for the consumer market, how do they find out about you guys?
Very good question. So the traditional way is telco marketing, which is expensive, billboards and all those kind of things. We are going to utilize viral marketing tools, things like referral marketing. One person can advertise over or make known over Facebook, Twitter, and others to their friends, and they get a benefit from that. So through those kind of things, we can grow, I think, much more efficiently. Also, the micro ISP is an entrepreneur in the village who's a reseller, but as well an advocate of the service, so you can go to someone local to you who gets a percentage fee again on the sale.
So
I have two questions. One is there anyone else out there doing what you guys are doing in these third world countries that are obviously in need of better internet connectivity at a price point? And the second is, you said you take a percentage of what's going through their transactions. Like, what percentage are you taking of that, and how are you going to make money? I mean, there's not a lot of people out there using your product at this point. The point is obviously to scale. Absolutely.
So first, the competitor side. There's actually no one doing it the way we're doing it and looking at the problem from every layer, really, and that's where the name comes from, the technical aspects of the infrastructure, the equipment, and then the business models on top, and I think we're very unique in that. On the revenue share side, we start at a higher point and go down to 5% over time, because we want to be a line item to them, which, but over time we as well add more and more value to them, looking at more features, and we, down the road, envision integrating things like fiber and other technologies, of course, as they grow.
Given the customers you serve, why are you based in San Francisco, and what's the view there?
So our background is having worked for the last 5 to 7 years in these countries. We all work together in a different organization and then spun out this business as a startup business. We will go back to be mainly focused in those regions. We have already employees there, and our plan is over the summer to relocate a significant portion of our team there. But we do think the connectivity, or the connection in San Francisco is really good. A lot of the development of this new equipment is in Silicon Valley and the US in general. We want to be very closely connected to that. Also the partnerships with companies like Facebook or Google or others.
So if something goes wrong, like what kind of support team do you have there?
Yeah, so we have already staff in those regions. We're working in East Africa right now. We have staff there. We will as well have full staffed NOC 24/7 operations, because one of the things you can't get from those equipment vendors is proper support. What you get when you go with an Ericsson or Huawei or someone else, which is really, really expensive, is a significant support component. And we will be delivering that through the classic ways of doing this, but as well, of course, online tools to make that easy. And we're already developing FAQs and things like that.
So unfortunately, we're out of time. That was EveryLayer. Thank you guys very much. Great job.
Thank you.